In the glittering yet shadowed world of European royalty, few stories have stirred as much fascination, speculation, and whispered intrigue as that of Princess Charlene of Monaco and her marriage to Prince Albert II. For years, the glamorous union between the South African-born Olympic swimmer and the reigning monarch of one of the wealthiest principalities in the world has been dissected by the press, scrutinized by royal watchers, and questioned by those who sense that behind the ceremonial smiles lies a far more complex reality. Now, in a rare and emotional turn of events, Charlene herself has spoken openly and with a clarity that many never expected about Albert's role in her life and in her marriage, a revelation that has thrown new light on their story and left the world asking whether this is a tale of royal resilience or a quiet confession of unspoken struggles. Charlene Wittstock's journey to becoming Princess of Monaco reads like a modern fairy tale with all the dramatic undertones of a Hollywood film. She was born in Rhodesia, now Zimbabwe, and raised in South Africa, where she built her life around swimming, eventually becoming an Olympian. Her first encounter with Prince Albert in 2000 seemed at first glance like destiny, a chance meeting at a swimming competition in Monte Carlo. What followed was a long courtship, filled with secrecy, glamour, and the inevitable buzz of the global press fascinated by the prospect of Monaco's most eligible bachelor finally settling down. When their engagement was announced in 2010, the world swooned at the idea of a romantic union that brought together sport, elegance, and royalty. Yet even then, the whispers began, whispers that would haunt the marriage for years to come. The 2011 royal wedding, celebrated in lavish style, was broadcast to millions, but it was overshadowed by reports of Charlene's visible distress. Cameras caught her wiping tears during the ceremony, sparking rumors that she had cold feet, that she had tried to leave Monaco before the vows, and that the fairy tale was perhaps not as golden as it appeared. The palace swiftly denied such claims, yet the image of a reluctant bride stayed with the public imagination, making Charlene the subject of endless commentary. Behind palace walls, however, life for Charlene was said to be anything but simple. For years, she has struggled to carve out her own identity within Monaco's royal framework. Unlike her late mother-in-law, Princess Grace, whose Hollywood career gave her a global aura, Charlene's transition into royal life was far more difficult. Language barriers, cultural differences, and the rigid expectations of Monaco's ruling house added pressure to her new life as consort. Reports of her isolation began to circulate, with suggestions that she spent increasing amounts of time away from Albert, both in South Africa and in Switzerland, fueling rumors of marital discord. These rumors only intensified in 2021 when Charlene remained absent from Monaco for months due to a severe ant infection that required multiple surgeries. During this period, she was separated from her children and her husband, leading tabloids to speculate about a secret rift, an impending separation, or even a royal scandal. And yet, through it all, Albert maintained his stance that their marriage remained strong, insisting that the world misunderstood their situation. Charlene, too, upon her return to Monaco, insisted that she needed time to recover and adjust. But now, in speaking candidly about Albert's role in her marriage, she has offered something rare, her own voice in a narrative often dominated by speculation. She described Albert not simply as a sovereign prince but as the anchor who has both challenged and supported her in moments of vulnerability. Charlene's words painted a portrait of a marriage that is not the flawless fairy tale the press often demands but rather a union shaped by human complexities, personal struggles, and the difficult balance between private love and public duty. She acknowledged that Albert's role in their relationship has been pivotal, both as a husband navigating the demands of ruling a principality and as a partner facing the intense spotlight of global scrutiny. For Charlene, the truth seems to lie somewhere between admiration and hardship, a recognition that while Albert has provided stability, his role has also been one of expectation, tradition, and at times, distance. The drama of this royal couple has often been magnified because Monaco itself carries such an aura of luxury and intrigue. The principality, perched on the French Riviera, is the playground of billionaires and celebrities, a tax haven wrapped in glitz. To be its prince and princess is to live not only under the gaze of your people but also under the endless scrutiny of international media. Charlene's candidness about Albert's role brings into sharp focus the tension of marrying not only a man but also a monarchy. Observers note that Charlene's statements carry undertones of resilience. She did not present herself as a victim but as someone who has endured extraordinary pressures and learned to rely on Albert in ways the public rarely sees. Yet her honesty also hinted at the cost of that reliance, the sacrifices of freedom, the challenges of being defined by her husband's role, and the constant balancing act between personal fulfillment and royal duty. Her voice was neither accusatory nor blindly adoring but rather reflective, as if she wanted the world to understand that real marriages, even royal ones, are far from picture perfect. Charlene's revelations also remind us that monarchy, for all its glamour, is built on human relationships that are vulnerable, fragile, and shaped by the same tensions that ordinary couples face, magnified 100-fold by the weight of history and expectation. Albert's role in their marriage, as Charlene described it, is both supportive and demanding, filled with love but also defined by the throne he occupies. That paradox lies at the heart of why their story resonates so deeply. It is at once about the fairy tale allure of royalty and the very real emotional cost of living within it. As the world reacts to Charlene's rare honesty, questions abound. Is this a turning point in how the couple wishes to present themselves, less as a glamorous symbol and more as a human pair navigating extraordinary circumstances? Does this openness mean the rumors of separation can finally be laid to rest, or will it invite more speculation about what remains unsaid? For the people of Monaco, Charlene's words may offer reassurance that despite her absences, despite the tabloid chatter, her bond with Albert has endured through trials. For royal watchers, however, it may deepen the fascination with what lies beneath the carefully curated public image. Through her candid remarks, Charlene has shown that silence can no longer be the only response to rumors and questions. By speaking, she has shifted the narrative, giving herself agency in a story often told by others. Whether her words will quiet speculation or ignite new waves of intrigue remains to be seen, but what is certain is that the princess has finally spoken with clarity about the man who stands beside her as both sovereign and husband. Her voice, steady yet emotional, has reminded the world that royal marriages are not fairy tales written in gold but human stories written in resilience, compromise, and the enduring complexity of love. The saga of Charlene and Albert continues, and with every public statement, every appearance, and every whispered rumor, the fascination only grows deeper. Perhaps that is the paradox of royalty. They live under a light so bright that their humanity becomes both exposed and obscured, leaving the world endlessly curious. Charlene's openness about Albert's role is not just a personal revelation but a reminder that even in the most glittering palaces, love and marriage are journeys of endurance, courage, and vulnerability. And now, as viewers and readers, we are left to ask ourselves, can a marriage built under such immense pressure truly thrive, or does the weight of the crown inevitably shape the course of love? Charlene's decision to speak openly about her marriage is not just a personal step but a significant moment for Monaco's image on the global stage. For decades, the tiny principality has been wrapped in stories of wealth, glamour, and scandal, from the Hollywood romance of Grace Kelly and Rainier III to Albert's reputation as a bachelor prince with a complicated personal life before marrying Charlene. In this context, her honesty feels almost revolutionary. It signals a shift from silence and secrecy toward transparency, even if carefully measured. For many, that openness has made her more relatable, reminding the world that behind the sparkling tiaras and state banquets stands a woman who has battled isolation, health issues, and the enormous expectations of marrying into royalty. The princess's relationship with Albert has often been described by insiders as a delicate balancing act. He is a ruler who shoulders the immense responsibility of preserving Monaco's status as a financial powerhouse, a cultural icon, and a sovereign nation surrounded by France. Charlene, meanwhile, has had to navigate her transformation from athlete to royal consort, mother, and public figure, often while under a relentless spotlight. By acknowledging Albert's role, she has highlighted both his importance as her partner and the undeniable impact of his duties on their personal life. It is a portrait of a marriage not defined solely by love but also by sacrifice, compromise, and adaptation to forces larger than themselves. Observers were quick to note how Charlene's tone avoided sensationalism. Instead of feeding tabloid rumors of conflict, her words reflected a nuanced understanding of her marriage as a work in progress, shaped by both affection and challenge. For royal watchers, this nuance was revealing. She neither denied the struggles that have been widely speculated upon nor reduced her relationship to a glossy fairy tale. Instead, she acknowledged the complexity, which may in fact be the most honest depiction of royal life that Monaco has seen in decades. The significance of her remarks also lies in the timing. In recent years, monarchies across Europe have faced increasing scrutiny, with citizens questioning the role of royals in modern societies. By humanizing her marriage, Charlene may have unintentionally reinforced the relevance of Monaco's ruling family, showing them not just as symbols of tradition but as real people confronting very human challenges. For the people of Monaco, who have often expressed concern during her absences, her honesty may provide reassurance that despite hardships, the bond between Albert and Charlene has endured. And yet, as with all royal confessions, her words leave room for interpretation. Some hear in them a declaration of solidarity, proof that the couple remains united against outside pressures. Others detect hints of vulnerability, a subtle admission that the crown's weight has been heavier than anticipated. What is undeniable, however, is that Charlene's decision to speak has reignited global fascination with her story. She has shifted from being seen merely as a silent, often distant princess to a woman reclaiming her narrative. In this light, her revelation is not just about Albert's role but about her own evolution. Once portrayed as a reluctant bride overshadowed by her husband's reputation, she now emerges as a voice of resilience, one who confronts speculation with quiet dignity and a willingness to share fragments of truth. The world may never know the full reality of life inside the palace walls of Monaco, but Charlene has reminded us that behind every royal facade lies a deeply human story, and that story, in all its vulnerability and strength, continues to unfold before our eyes.